the reason I come here is, and I mean, this is going to sound a little funny, but I thought I had him saddled right, but I mean, probably people give me a bad time, but like when I watch the barrel racing and stuff like that, I've watched Sherry Serby, and Sherry, I mean, is very amazing to me. I mean, she, dang sure rides one awesome and stuff, but the one thing that I always thought Sherry done that is very unique is, like, if you look at her horses' backs, they don't look like a lot of other horses' backs. I mean, they stay working all the time. I mean, she goes to, use the same horse a lot of the time. I mean, and it's just, them barrel horses, they're a lot more on more stress than I would say any other horse, just because they're having to turn at full speeds, and just, my horse runs straight. I'm gonna tell you about my team. I'm just very, very proud of them. This horse right here, we named him Pump Jack. I'm actually, I couldn't afford him by myself out of the rodeo money, so I own this horse with partners with a very close friend of mine, Daryl Crappie, and we partnered on this horse, and I tried him out before the finals last year, and just love him. I've never had a horse that I felt so comfortable on, and just very, very confident on, and really, really like him, and he's really been a blessing for me to have such a great bull-logging horse, and I just hope I can keep him sound, But this is my Hazen horse, Buck, and he come actually from my dad. My dad picks up a bunch, and my dad did a really good job of breaking him and keeping him, he hazed a little bit on him and team roped, and he's worked out really good too. I really like him. This is the first year that I've ever really had a team that I was gonna, full-time rodeo on, and more than anything, the Martin saddle has been a big blessing for me, because that when I got him, I was, it's hard to, when Brian told me how to fit these saddles, I was like, man, that's different. I don't know if that's gonna work for me. It's a little weird, but then you get to using it, and you get to seeing how you slide that back and make them horses fit a little bit better. And this horse, I mean, like, blossomed overnight. I had his wife work on him and did a little massage therapy, and when we put that saddle on, it was like he went from this level to just, I mean, overnight just he always felt really strong, but it was like he went to breaking harder. Just, I mean, it made me a real believer, It just, I mean, I couldn't believe it. And this horse was a little ratty in the corner. We put that saddle on him, and it was just overnight too. He was different in the corner. It's amazing what a saddle. I never thought, heck, when I was growing up, that's the saddle we had. That's the saddle we put on, Heck, we didn't know. That horse just needed to work with it, and, which is fine. Them horses still need to work with them, the good ones, but this saddle will keep him, just keep him working a little better, for longer. I mean, them horses are still going to get sore, but, I mean, why not try something to keep them from getting more sore, I mean, I know for a fact, I mean, he's perkier, he feels better, I mean, I know when Tracy worked on him, she checked his points, and I mean, he was a sore booger, and now, I've had to check him about 3 or 4 times, and just, man, I can't believe how this horse is getting so much better, and he's getting, it's just like I really can't stress it enough how much confidence he has grown. And I mean, I've grown more confidence in him just because of that. They both have just really stepped it up, and they were always great horses, but I feel like now they're just, they can run with anything, I mean, I wouldn't trade them for any horse in the PRCA. I love them more, my boys, my family are sure the most special thing, but these are the next special thing in my life, right here. I watch over them like a hawk, I make a living on them, and they dang sure are my friends, good friends.
Dean, in building this saddle, we did spend a lot of time on your side and on the horse side. Let's talk about the points that makes this a good saddle for you and the guys mounting off your horse. What makes it, gives you the competitive edge in it.
Brian, I think you did such a good job. I can't really, that's what we've talked about before, I can't really see where one thing that, you've tried to say, point one thing that I don't like on the saddle, and I really can't. I mean, I really didn't design it. I mean, I know I helped you with it, but all I really did was just, it seemed like all I did was, this is how I ride, Brian, and you kind of just made it. But one thing I do really like is I like the little horn, and I just like the way you built the back up where it don't feel like, on a powerful bulldogging horse, it always feels like you're kind of jumping out the back. And you got this one where it feels like I can ride better, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the best rider in the PRCA and the bulldog. So I mean, it makes you feel like you're over your horse a little more instead of back there just flopping, you know. And you know, I think it saves the horse too, because you're not yanking on the reins, you know. And this saddle fits so good that, heck, I don't even have to really tighten it as much, you know. I mean, really, it ain't tight at all. And I know I could step on there, you know. I mean, I've done it before, you know. I guarantee I could bulldog one out of there. Is not as tight as it should be.
Okay. So basically, what we've done is, you know, let that seat where you can sit down in the middle of it. As you said, you need to scoot to the front. You know, you feel good and balanced. You're not getting blown out the back. The horn, where you can roll your hand across it without getting it wreathed out of your hand. One thing, you know, we've gone in and backed and stitched the fenders so they got a heavy fall to them, so they're not going to hang. They're also not going to fall and spook that horse and run him off. And one thing, you know, that you've really been, you know, complimentary on was adding this Hamley twist in there. Something we weren't sure on with, you know, untried waters in your arena, was just so that, you know, them fenders are always hanging straight, a little easier on your knees, and you guys ain't got a history of good knees.
Exactly.
And we got a reinforced back bill that's got nylon reinforcing in it. Made that a good, you know, easy roll with nothing to catch your hip and jerk you out of there. And we are offering, we've filled that hole in so you can't hang a spur in that gullet hole. You know, and we are, you know, this saddle's coming stock, you know, standard with the slick seat in it. They can add a padded seat if they want, but we're gonna figure 90% of them is gonna ride it slick seated. And it is going to be, you know, with the in-skirt adjustable rig or the D-rig, the traditional D-rig. So
I do like that, and just like we were talking right there with that D-rig, I know that the actual D-rig would set back here, so the cinch would set right here. On my old saddle, when I move it back, Brian, the big thing he told me is like, shoot, you know, you move that back and your cinch is setting here. So Brian told me, you know, like, if we go with this, you know, you can move it up. The team ropers do it, and the barrel racers and everybody, you know, but the bulldoggers haven't done it yet. And I was like, shoot, let's do that, you know. I mean, because I ride that one off, and actually probably could ride it one more up. You know, you can set it where you want it, and it's just, if you were in a regular D, it'd be back here, and your cinch would be back here. And I mean, that's why it looks so funny to people, is that it looks funny because your cinch is setting back here. You get it all set, and nobody knows that it's back anymore because your cinch is up. They just going by looks, and it really did look funny with my other saddle, but it doesn't with this saddle. You know, I mean, it just and the big thing on this saddle, I've never rode a new saddle that felt broke in with these stirrups. That's what I love about it. And I mean, when I ride that, you don't even know it's new. You know, your feet don't hurt. It feels like a broken in saddle the first day you ride it.
Yeah. Okay. A few other things we've done with it is the back D cutout, you know, so not that you're pulling him as tight as a team rope, but when you're going to cinch down, there's no build up of pressure there. And even down to where your cinch carrier hanging on the back here, you know, when you're stacking that saddle in a trailer rack, it eliminates that big build up of cinches and everything in the front that makes it hard to drive that saddle into that rack. And we, you know, even tried and tested to make sure it never got in your guys' way, and you haven't had an issue with it.
No.
You know, and also now this is a wider gulleted tree. You haven't had any issues with that, and you know, and we've made that seat with a big round form to it, so you're not, as you said, you know, getting jerked over a center hump. It's got a nice roll to it to let you get out of there right.
Well, and that's really what I mean. If you're not that's what really made me a believer is this saddle. The other saddle I had for 2 months. It's the same saddle, and this is a 7.5-inch gullet. And when I put that on this horse 2 months ago, he was a 7 and it was loose.
Yeah.
Brian had me move it back, and it's just putting different pressure, different spots where it's conformed across the whole back instead of just right there tight along the withers. And he's already in a 7.5. In 2 months he grew out of that saddle. That's amazing to me. You know, I mean,
with